Dead Sea Scrolls. I've had many questions about them. Many of them were answered, but a few of the questions I have is, did they purposely put those things in the cave in order to not be found?
They put them in the cave so they'd be preserved, and they knew where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes, they hid them in a sense. They were repositories, like we would say libraries, but they were, the way we find them, hidden away in niches, in the recesses of caves. Sometimes that very first cave, cave 1, the only entrance was that hole at the top. And they had to actually stand on people's shoulders to get in and lower the scrolls through that hole to someone who was inside. So it was very inaccessible. So yeah, to hide them to be sure, but primarily to preserve them. But they didn't want them found. They wanted them where only they could find them. And this whole area is so desolate, and that's why so little has been found through 2,000 years. We have some accounts of some things being found in caves near Jericho. Some of the church fathers mentioned some of this. But it's very rare, and that's why some of these older copies of the Bible and things remained inaccessible to people, while we only had the later copies. And that's why it's so important to find what's still there.
Now, when it comes to the opening of the cave, was the covering of the cave man-produced or nature-produced?
It's both. The cave, like you see here in this picture, they're called Falk Tapes. They're natural limestone caves, and earthquakes and things will open up these faults in them. And so that's natural. They've been enhanced sometimes by men, as I showed you the stacked stones to keep the ceiling from collapsing. But then we have the caves like, get back over here, okay? So this cave 4 up here, this is the softer material, and the door of that was clearly cut by someone. If you see this picture here of me and the door of the cave, this is a man-made cave, so it was hollowed out. Also, it was right next to the communities. In this case, they're not trying to hide things, they're just storing things, and they go in and out of this cave. But in the other caves, no, they were hiding.
You anticipate there are further caves right in this particular area?
Yeah, there's some like this that we want to examine next year. There's a collapsed marl cave like this, not too far distant from the community. And so we don't know, but it has the likelihood of having something. So we're going to have to dig that out. It's more treacherous than the other ones because this material is very unstable. So we have to bring safety engineers, we do scaffolding, we do all kind of things to make sure we're safe in what we're doing, but it's very difficult. But yeah, even at this site of Qumran, there are still caves that have collapsed in the past, and you don't see them. And now and then, maybe some crack will open up and someone says, we have a cave here. So that, there's possibilities. Again, when you're spending $150,000, you don't want to throw it in an empty hole. You want to be very careful what you're doing, because it's very hard to raise the money, it's very hard to do the work. So it's as much homework as you can do ahead of time, research, to determine the best place is what we're trying to do.
Now, when you are gone, who's minding the cave so that no one else goes in?
Yeah, well, this one I'm talking about here, let's show you that again, right here. The cave in the background up here, that whole area is completely off limits. No one can walk in that area. And they have, right at the end of this plateau, you can't see it from this picture, in fact they put it up later, but there is a camera mounted on a large pole, and 24 hours a day they monitor the whole area. And so from a building inside they can see everyone and what they're doing. And it's illegal to go to where our cave is. I can't go there now. Mainly because they say it's unsafe. I could get permission to go myself, but I couldn't bring people there anymore. So this is off limits. So to do any work in this area, you have to have a permit. And it takes about a year to get a permit. You have to have a committee sit on to agree to the permit, and then you can go do your work. But it's very carefully monitored, very carefully controlled. So that's to keep people from going back to a site that's been excavated and possibly trying to find something else that the excavators didn't find.
Very good, thank you.
Okay.
If you have more questions, Dr. Price and his wife Beverly will be up at the book